Hey everybody, this is Tami Roman from Basketball Wives, and you are watching Willie D Live.
Welcome to Willie D Live. We're about to go in with Basketball Wives star Tami Roman. But before we do, as always, we like to start the show off with a bit of good news. This good news moment is brought to you by Good Spy, and it comes out of Florida State, where a mom feared her autistic son ate lunch alone, and so a football player from Florida State decided to sit down and eat lunch with this kid. Travis Rudolph is a wide receiver at Florida State University as an impact player for the Seminoles, but on last Tuesday, he made a major impact off the field. Rudolph was visiting a middle school and spotted a student eating lunch all by himself, so he decided to have a couple of slices of pizza with the boy. Little did he know, while the child was sitting alone, nor the impact his simple action would have on the boy's mother. This is what Leah Pask, the boy's mother, wrote on Facebook after she learned about Rudolph's gesture. When Rudolph read the letter, not only did he cry himself, but he offered the boy his phone number so that the two could chat anytime. I do remember middle school being scary and hard. Now that I have a child starting middle school, I have feelings of anxiety for him, and they can be overwhelming if I let them. Sometimes I'm grateful for autism. That may sound like a terrible thing to say, but in some ways I hope it shields him. He doesn't seem to notice when people stare at him when he flaps his hands. He doesn't seem to notice that he doesn't get invited to birthday parties anymore, and he doesn't seem to mind if he eats alone. Most days I feel sad for him. He is a super sweet kid who always has a smile and a hug for everyone he meets. A friend of mine sent a beautiful picture to me today, and when I saw it with the caption, "Travis Rudolph is eating lunch with your son," I immediately had tears streaming down my face. Travis Rudolph, a wide receiver at Florida State, and several other FSU players visited my son's school. I'm not sure what exactly made this incredible, kind man share a lunch table with my son, but I am happy to say that it will not soon be forgotten. This is why one day I didn't have to worry about my little boy eating alone, because he sat across from someone who is his hero in many eyes. Never forget, y'all, that the small things are sometimes what people value most. For your daily good news stories, along with motivational and encouraging content that will uplift you, download the Good Spy app at iTunes and Google Play. Ladies and gentlemen, Tami Roman is in the building.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Tami, what you been doing, Tami?
Working.
I know. You always working. You got your hands in a lot of things.
I do. I mean, I think that, anybody that's really trying to be about their business, you should have at least 7 streams of income. So I
But
wake up every morning.
You seem to have 30 though. You really be on it.
Yeah. I have 2 kids.
You got 2.
I got to take care of them.
Jazz and Lyric. Jazz. Now, Jazz. She's a rap artist.
Jazz is a hip hop artist,
right,
and I manage her. So when I'm not doing my own things, I'm handling stuff for her.
You think you bit off too much then you can chew because that's a lot of work.
It
know?
is.
And you already got a lot on your table.
God never puts on you more than you can bear. So
right,
I feel like as long as I haven't jumped off a bridge or desire to,
right,
I'm still in his good graces.
Right. now, did she get any major perks for Tami being a mother? Tami Roman.
Actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You
want you to work hard? Want her to work harder?
They want her to work harder. I think some doors are definitely not being opened because she's my daughter. You know what I mean? Where I think if she was just a regular, I hate to use the word regular, but if she was just not affiliated with a person that was on TV, and if her dad wasn't a professional basketball player, I think that they'd be like, oh, she's dope, and she'd get more response and reception from people. But because she's our kid, it's kind of
right,
like,
right,
oh, that's Tammy's daughter. Here go another celebrity kid trying to do, it's that whole thing.
Right.
But she keeps grinding because she's talented.
Now, I mean, do she look for does she want it to be easy, or is she one of those
Oh no,
kids that
she
I
wants
wanna
her own thing.
blaze my own path?
She wants her own thing. I mean, and here again, it's just like, if I look at my industry, if I had done certain things with certain people, I'd be much farther along in my career.
Right.
She's taking on that same mindset.
Right.
If I want to ride off my mama's coattail or my dad's, loyals, I could be further along, but I'm trying to do this thing on my own.
Okay, all right. Speaking of mom and dad, let's start at the beginning.
Oh.
You're from New York, Mount Vernon.
I was born in Mount Vernon. Mm-hmm.
Now, you at some point you moved to White Plains.
Correct.
Now, that's
at 6 months.
6 months. So you grew up in an affluent
I grew up in White Plains.
neighborhood. Yeah, that's money over there.
I mean,
a lot of people doing all right over there.
White Plains has its little pockets. I think that's with any city, you know. But I will commend my mom, may she rest in peace, that she tried to keep me on the better side of things. But somehow I always ended up in the projects. I always ended up on Ferris Avenue. It's
Right.
just like I didn't want to be over there with white folks. I wanted to be with my peoples.
It was boring.
It was boring.
Yeah.
So there was activity
Right.
in the projects.
So what kind of kid were you?
I was actually a really great kid. I was an excellent student. I always would win, contests and things. I was principal of my school for a day. I was, back in the day, they used to have teacher's pet of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I was a very, very good student, straight A student. But after school, I was all in it. I was
Right.
like, what y'all doing? What's going on over there? I was definitely
Right.
involved.
Right. Now, when you started going to the hood, I'm sure your mom moved to White Plains to try to get you like a better life
Yes.
and all this type of stuff, and then
Yes.
you started going to the hood. She's like, wait a minute, she wasn't like, hey,
She
you
picked up
going
and
in
moved.
reverse, man.
She picked up and moved to Dobbs Ferry, which was even whiter than White Plains.
Right, and you
She was like, you won't find nothing out this way.
and you rebelled more, right?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I just adapted. My mom moved a lot. She was the type of person, if she didn't like something or it didn't vibe, she was up out of there.
Yeah.
It's like I said, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, you lost all them security deposits? But, she would move at the drop of a dime. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I moved around a lot. By the time I was 13, I was living in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, and then at 15, I was in Long Beach, California. And then that's where I spent the majority of my life.
Now that's what I was gonna get to. How did you end up on the Los Angeles version of The Real World? Because you've been from New York.
Yeah, I was living in Los Angeles
Okay.
by then. So at that time, I was 22 years old, and I was working at an HIV healthcare center.
Okay.
And one of my coworkers auditioned for the show. And so, like, I'm always the person people come to with, like, oh my, with their stories. I'm the person, I got that ear that I hear everybody's
Right.
stories. And she was like, oh, I auditioned for the show and I didn't get it. And I had never heard of the show. And so, MTV's famous for their marathons. So I went home. That was a Friday. That Saturday morning, they were doing a Real World marathon with the New York cast. And I'm
Right.
watching it like, wow, these are just, normal people living their lives in a house. I'm going to do me a tape.
Right.
I'm going to try. And so that Sunday, my mom and I went to the mall and just walked around the mall, and I just talked the entire time. And Monday I took it up to the MTV offices, and they were like, oh, we've already cast it, we're done. I said, like, no, you need to see this tape, and I'm not going to leave until somebody in this office just takes a look at it. I just want you to pop
Right.
it in. And they did, and the rest is history.
Incredible. Yeah. Listen, man, you gotta be relentless. You gotta be relentless.
You really do.
And not take no for an answer. I'm thinking, I believe all this stuff that you're talking about, how you were so good in school and stuff, because you are a very, very intelligent person.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're very
I've
intelligent.
got the Willie D endorsement.
Yeah, you got my endorsement, and you know I don't play no games, so,
Right.
so I'm gonna shoot straight from the hip. You are a very, very intelligent person, very quick on your feet, and you've been able to, I think, use that to your advantage, because you've been in a lot of different shows, and many of these shows cross all type of social, economic, and racial boundaries, many different demographics, and that is a tribute to your ability to adjust. And where that come from?
I'm going to give that to my mom, because I think that as a kid who moved around a lot, I had to adapt. I had to be
Right.
adaptable. So I think, from that standpoint, you meet people from all different walks of life, from all different economic backgrounds, from all different social backgrounds. And you just figure out where you still being yourself, but figure out how you can inject you into that environment. And so I did that a lot as a kid.
Right. Now, when you talked about moving to the hood, first thing I thought about is good girl gone bad. So you went and found your bad boy in the hood, did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. The worst mistake I could have ever made.
Let me say this. Now here's the thing. This is what I want to know, because I was a bad boy, and so I don't want my daughter to end up with no bad boy though. Because see, bad boys, from what I understand, from when I hear women talk, they say bad boys are exciting. They're exciting, but a bad boy will lay hands on you sometimes. Bad boys go to jail. Bad boys sometimes have issues with their finances.
Yes.
They're just not stable.
Yeah, I do agree with you that there are those that are out there.
Yeah.
I don't think that every person that is from the hood that's considered a bad boy is a bad person. And so sometimes, people are just in situations or their circumstances put them in certain environments, but they're good people at the core.
Yeah, that was me. I was a good dude. I always been a good
was
dude.
Kenny Anderson too.
That's why I'm still here, man. By the grace of God, I've been shown favor because I am a good dude. I do believe. Exactly. At least that's what people tell me and everything.
You are.
Yeah.
We love you.
I appreciate that. So what's going on now? Like exactly, like I see you doing these Bonnet Chronicles.
Yes.
These if y'all haven't seen Tami's Bonnet Chronicles, y'all need to go to you only do it on Instagram or you post it on other social media outlets?
Sometimes I'll send something to Facebook. Sometimes I'll send something to YouTube but that's too many social media things. I just can't think with all of that, trying to send it everywhere. So they're mostly on Instagram.
Mostly on Instagram. So if you guys have never seen it, Tami got this bonnet on her head, and she always looked like she just woke up or she going to sleep.
Because it is. I'm usually just waking up or about to go to bed.
And she talks about what irks her, like things that irks her all the time, like
and things that irk other people too. Like not every story is mine.
Okay,
but it's
right.
like things that if I'm like we're having a conversation and you say like you were a bad boy, and I'll go home and think on that and make that into something that everybody can relate to.
Yeah. I mean, it's so real. Like every one of the stories that she tell, you actually relate to, and I watch your audience react a lot of time to what you say, and boy, they be having a ball. They like eating it up. Where are you taking this?
We're actually getting ready to start doing Bonnet Chronicles Live, which is like a little mini tour that will be going around to different cities. We're starting in Chicago.
Nice. On
September 10th, and ultimately, hoping that maybe it can transition into a bigger tour.
Right.
And I get out there and do some, I don't consider I'm not a comedian. Like people work hard at being a comedian.
True.
I'm not trying to put that type of time into it.
True.
I'm just going to be honest. So I just consider myself like a real life expert.
Yeah.
Who just happens to be funny.
but you know what? And a lot of things in life, a lot of situations in life are funny, even like serious situations. Like, because I hear people a lot of times say, man, Willie D, man, you raised me, man, but you funny as hell, man.
Right.
You be saying it's funny.
Sometimes
but
it is.
Sometimes it is funny. Like, have anybody tried to get you to do comedy?
Yes, quite a few people.
Yeah.
They actually approached me to host and open a comedy tour with Kim Whitley and Darnell Rawlins and I think Mike Epps. They just added him, but I had to turn it down, unfortunately, because I'm scared.
Hey,
I'm just gonna go home, put it on out there. I'm scared.
You know what? I am too.
I got to work on it a little bit.
I am too, man. Those comedians, I already know. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I think I can put together a decent couple of jokes and stuff. I got 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 minutes. But I think my problem would be like trying to remember the stuff.
See, that's the thing with Bonnet Chronicles. I don't remember anything. I'm just rambling and ranting, and that's why I said I'm not trying to put together jokes.
But that's different because if you're trying to put together jokes, that requires structure. It requires structure because your timing has to be
where's your time?
excellent.
Where's your punchline? Where's this? I'm not her.
I couldn't do it because I'd be like standing up there like, yeah, man, and I told that fool and then somebody start heckling or something, then I'll handle it, and I'll be like, hey,
What was
man,
the joke?
What the hell I was saying, man? Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the joke. I would totally lose it. So I see you brought your special guy in here.
Yeah.
My dude, Reg is in the building. Reg is over there chilling. That's my man right there. Good dude, man. You know what? I'm so happy to see you guys together. Like
Thank
you
you.
guys really are happy. I like
Yeah,
that.
we really are.
I like to see. I like when y'all together. I really like to
Thank
see
you.
it because you know what, you probably don't know this, but I'm one of them dudes that when I see people happy, I'm kind of like living vicariously through them. Like, yeah, put it in y'all face. I'm thinking we ain't gonna make it, but yeah, we got this. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking. I'm on the outside looking like
Right.
work it, make it work. I was one of them dudes like pushing hard for Whitney and Bobby. Like
Yeah,
every year,
I
like
was
get
too.
it, stick them,
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah,
Like I love it. I love to see love work.
Thank you.
And it works. Are you guys doing y'all got any plans to do any special shows together?
No.
I know y'all did.
We
what
did.
was that
We
show?
did Celebrity
Couples?
Wife Swap together, and we did Marriage Boot Camp together.
Okay, yeah, right.
But Reggie doesn't want to be on TV. When he's on TV, it's because I go, you got to come with me and do this.
Right.
And trust me, we argue because that turns into an argument. But he's supportive in a way that he'll do it if I ask him, but it's not something that he wants to do.
Right.
He's not, trying to be on TV. So.
Right. Reggie, that's one of the most solid dudes I ever met. I really cover that dude.
Thank you.
Now, good choice, yeah, and he made a good choice too.
Oh,
You
thank
know what I'm
you.
saying? So have you ever, speaking of doing things that you don't really want to do, have you ever had them to tell you, hey, Tami, we need you to do this, and it could have went well for you, could have been lucrative, and you said, you know what, I don't care what you say, I'm not doing it.
Yes.
In this entertainment industry, I mean,
Yes.
are you at liberty to say what it was?
I can't because that would put somebody on blast. But
Right.
and I don't want to do that. But I think everybody has been put in positions where you've been asked to do something you don't necessarily want to do. And then there's those instances where you just go, you say, okay, I'll go ahead on and do this.
Right.
And it goes bad, and you knew all along you shouldn't have done it. And, now you've got to suffer the repercussions of that. And I speak to that only because on my show, Basketball Wives, everything for us in those moments are real, and are real feelings. But I will admit that things are amped up 20, 30, 50%. You know what I mean? And so there was one instance where there was a young lady on the show, and we went to Tahiti, and the producers were like, "Oh, this is boring. It's not going to be a good trip. We're not getting any good footage. Like you have an issue with Keisha. Can you just really make
turn
that
it on."
something?" Yeah, And so my dumb ass, oops, I don't know if I can say.
No, you good,
Okay,
you good.
sorry, baby. I go and do that, and that went really bad. But I knew that I should not have, because I'm always trying to be as authentic as I truly am in real life, and I felt like, well, I'm not even really that mad about this, so now I gotta go put on some extra stuff, I don't care, and it went bad. So.
I always thought that the real world, Los Angeles, was the first real world. I thought you did the
No,
actual
Real World
first
New
one.
York with Heather B. and Kevin Powell and
Okay,
Julie.
that's right. That's right. I guess I thought you were first because you were the first real reality star in my eyes. I mean,
Thank
as
you.
far as like big star, like you really did like bust the door open as far as like for people to really start really paying attention to those reality shows.
Well, I respect Heather B. because I wouldn't have even been on that show if they hadn't have done season 1, and that was great for them to have a season 2,
True that.
which is the one that I was
True
on.
that.
So.
And what happened? And Kevin Powell became a journalist.
He's a politician, and
he's a politician now? I didn't know that. He's a brilliant dude.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
A lot of good people, a lot of good people that came off that show, and like say Heather B is over
Yes,
at Sway in the morning. She's at Sway in the morning doing real well for herself. You're doing well for yourself. Kevin's doing well for himself. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the other cast of characters, but those first few pioneers that came along, y'all really bust the door open for everybody.
I thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to get back on that just a little bit more when we come back. You're checking out Willie D Live.